The Umhlali Village was once a small, quaint and convenient street. Much development has occurred in the area since then, and while a lot has changed, some things remain the same. Local TV chats to local real estate founder and former Umhlali resident Tim Johnson to find out more about how this town has evolved. I'm sitting here with the principal and founder of local real estate, Tim Johnson, but you're also Umhlali born and bred. Tell us more about the significance of the area and the history of Umhlali Village.
Umhlali's got a wonderful history. First of all, the name itself, those local indigenous people that were here earlier on, Umhlali actually referred to a place of waiting, which is where they would sort of wait to be ferried across the Umhlali River, and also referred to the monkey orange tree, which is found abundantly on the bank. And then in more recent times, it was actually a fort, so Fort William was also in that area. And then when the colonization schemes were taking place in the 1850s, Umhlali then became a very important trade route for all of the agricultural practices that were taking place there. So it's a wonderful kind of rich heritage of both European and African history.
What were some of your fondest memories in Umhlali?
I went to Umhlali Primary School, or Umhlali Primair in those days, which was a really long-standing kind of part of the community. Umhlali at this point is over 100 years old. And of course, after school, going to Cindy's and the spa and picking up a pie on our farm account. I just remember memories of my grandfather going and collecting the post with Tony Birmingham's pharmacy, the Umhlali Co-op or Farmers Co-op. All of these things were really a big part of our growing up.
So you talk about all these beautiful memories. How much of that has stayed the same?
Umhlali has kind of gone through this sort of evolution over the last number of years. I mean, there was a moment absolutely when Umhlali was pretty dead. I mean, I think there was concern about would it survive, what the development happening in Belito, and what would its relevance be moving forward. But it's been so great to see how it's kind of reinvented itself over the last few years. And so we've seen some really kind of innovative uses of the spaces and some of the old buildings in the area. And it's actually going through this wonderful resurgence as a result.
But when you look at Umhlali today, what still exists there?
The high street, fortunately, is still there, although the shops have changed. Cindy's is iconic. The BP garage has been there forever. The Farmers Co-op, Robertson Chaplin, the old auditors and accountants servicing the community for many years, and the post office, they're still there.
Can you give us some examples of some of the older buildings that have now been readapted and reused?
I suppose the iconic ones will be the old spa building, which then has turned into the boxing gym. We've got the old railway station, which is Second Chance. One of my favorite memories was the Lali Hotel, the old Umhlali Hotel. It was the watering hole, and that now, ironically, has been turned into a church.
Yes.
The old Standard Bank face brick building is a car dealership. And of course, another one would be Thompson's Tasty Meats. I know that's where Lorette's Kitchen has been for a while.
There's no doubt that there's been significant changes in the area. What are your thoughts on that?
It's certainly fairly unrecognizable from when we grew up and generations before that. But I think that at its core, it's still that sense of community and that real kind of willingness to get to know your neighbor. I don't think that that's lost. I think that that's what has made people want to move to this area. And while absolutely it's much busier, we still have that kind of laid back, Salt Rock, Umhlali, holiday kind of vibe. But by and large, actually the community has really maintained what's so special all those years back. Of course, seeing all the development, one would assume that those locals that have been there for many years would have potentially a negative view on that. For the most part, they've actually been part of that growth. Many farmers have become property developers, and many shop owners and tourism operators have really benefited from the growth in the area. So by and large, it's been very positive. We have challenges, make no mistake. There are challenges in a growing area where you've got services and infrastructure which are under pressure, and that certainly has to be addressed. But overall, I mean, I think that if you spoke to people that have been here for many years, I would say that they are pretty positive about the growth.
There's been some really exciting stuff happening, especially recently. What are you most excited about, and can you talk us through some of this development?
We've got the new Total garage, which has gone on the R102, which I think has added tremendously to the area. There's some nice residential development that will be taking place next door to that, so watch this space. And then in the village itself, I've been very excited to see the new paddle tennis courts go into Sugar Village, which is really great, and it's kind of added a new dynamic to that space. The BP garage has had an upgrade, and North Point, as a commercial development, we were kind of crying out for that, to have something that could really kind of house a sort of mixed-use commercial precinct.
What do you envision the future of Umhlali to look like?
I think it's going to probably follow this sort of similar trajectory to where we are right now, and I think that it's underpinned by a couple of things. It's on a great transport route, and we've got the schools. Umhlali is a sort of anchor tenant, as you will, and we've even got Bloom Special Needs School that's gone in next door there. So that's a great thing for people that are also looking at bringing in retail and other lifestyle opportunities there. So, you know, seeing things like the makerspace in there and gym and wellness facilities and restaurants, I see it just growing from strength to strength. I see it as being a very important part of the environment, especially with the growing area where Seaton, Zudulami, Elaleni, all of these estates that are kind of north of Shaka's Rock. I think Umhlali is going to play a very important role in those as we move forward.
This unique little town with over 150 years of history has proven to us once again that we live in a place full of interest and heritage shaped by some pretty incredible people. We hope you've enjoyed our little snapshot into the history of Umhlali.